They take on business big and small. Whatever your needs are, Target Steel will exceed your expectations. Target Steel is a family-owned and operated company, which means a great work environment, competitive pay, and great benefits. Adding over 40,000 square feet to the Flat Rock location means jobs in every department. Stop in and fill out an application or apply online at targetsteel.net. That's targetsteel.net. Capone Sports Bar in St. Clair Shores. The premier East Side sports bar on Harper between 9 and 10 Mile. Over 32 taps. Catch the game on dozens of screens or kick back on the patio. Pool tables, darts, arcade games. Full menu with American classics and Capone's signature dishes. Capone'sBar.com. Find Capone's on Facebook. Not just a bar, a destination. The premier East Side sports bar. Capone Sports Bar in St. Clair Shores.
Hi, Samantha here with Henderson Glass, your Michigan glass expert since 1915. Did you know that our qualified professionals can help determine if your windshield can be repaired or should be replaced in order to get you back on the road quickly and safely? As a general rule, if the chip in your windshield is bigger than a quarter, the windshield should be replaced. Many insurance companies will waive the deductible on your comprehensive coverage for a windshield repair. Call us at 1-800-ASK-GLASS to ask if you qualify, or visit hendersonglass.com.
Attention all CDL truck drivers.
CMAC Transportation is hiring company drivers and mechanics, and their sister company Superior Global Logistics is hiring owner-operators right now. CMAC Transportation and Superior Global are fast-growing, Michigan-made, veteran-owned companies that offer competitive pay and top benefits, dedicated freight, and lots regular home time. Call CMAC Transportation and Superior Global today, 734-225-9887. That's 734-225-9887, or on the web at cmactrans.com.
What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
I'm Adam Helfman with Hire It Done. Here with some quick tips that you can use next time you're looking for a contractor. These tips are so crucial, I don't want anyone to hire a contractor before hearing this. Number one. We've been programmed to always get at least 3 bids, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also want to give you permission to say yes when you find the contractor you want. Remember, it might be a few weeks or more before a good contractor is available to start working, and the sooner you decide, the sooner the project starts moving forward. Number two. Ask the contractor to write down everything that's included. This forces the contractor to think what else is part of the project and what could potentially come up. Additionally, ask the contractor what is not included. This too will force the contractor to think about items of the project that may not be included. Number three. Get it in writing for how long the job will take. Just understand that this is a reference, not an exact timeline, because no two houses or projects are the same. If you think you need a penalty clause for the job taking too long, then be prepared for paying a bonus clause if the project finishes early. Number four. Look for a contractor who's solution-minded. And what I mean by that is look for someone who identifies and solves problems instead of placing blame. Before you hire someone, ask what happens when a job goes wrong. Great contractors will have great answers. Number five. You don't necessarily want to hire the cheapest or the most expensive contractor. The cheapest contractors are more likely to cut corners, while the most expensive are not necessarily performing the best work. That's why more often than not, the best value comes from contractors who are priced in the middle of the road. If you like these tips, I've got a whole hour of home improvement advice coming your way. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com. When there's work to be done around or in your home, when there's money to be spent, you don't want to go wrong. What you don't know can hurt you. We're people you can trust. Oh, get advice from us. What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
Good morning. It's the weekend, the perfect weekend, my friends. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Got a really, really good show lined up for you this morning. Today and every Saturday, we line up the best home improvement contractors, professionals, information, whatever we got to do to make it great content for you. Because, listen, your home's your biggest investment. We want you to fix it up properly. We want you to hire contractors that are not going to scam you. Homeowners have two fears. Their fear is to overpay, and their fear is to get ripped off. Well, we're going to try and allay that by giving you good information so that you don't overpay, right? It's the way it should be. Remember, what you don't know can hurt you. And Hire It Done is here to teach homeowners and give you great information on just finding good contractors and trends in home improvement. And even we do a little do-it-yourself. See, I'm not anti-do-it-yourself, friends. I'm pro do-it-for-me. There's a difference. Sure, I can teach you how to clean your chimney. Sure, I can teach you about stopping the water from making noises and your washing machine from doing the tango across the floor. However, I'd rather give you the questions to ask the repairman or the contractor or the handyman or whoever it may be. Those questions I need to share with you so that you know as a homeowner, all right, I get it. That's the best part. So anyways, I just want to make sure that we're on there. We have a really good show. Today, I've got at 7:30, I'll be joined by a home inspector, Dan Welch of Danway Home Inspection. He'll be coming in, and we're going to be talking about home inspections. You know, you buy a house, you get a home inspector. What did he see differently than you? You move in, and all of a sudden there's all these problems. Is it the home inspector's fault? How thorough should he be? How long should it take? Recently, Dan and I went and inspected a home in Birmingham. And I'm not a home inspector. I just have homeowners call me all the time. Friends, hey, Adam, I need help. And I'm like, all right, I'll go. I'll bring Dan. He goes through everything, and I look at it. And, you know, it took me 15 minutes in the house to figure out, like, 5 major issues. And Dan's there for 3-4 hours, right? So, Dan and I compare notes. He's like, yeah, Adam, this, and this. I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. And so, how as a homeowner, do you even know if the home inspector is going to do a good job or not? Well, the best part is there are some good home inspectors. And Dan, who's been around forever, him and I are going to talk about how to find a good home inspector, what to ask. And then when there is a mistake and the home inspector blows it and misses out, what do? How do you handle it? You know, you can't sue the guy. Or can you? I don't want to sue anyone. Litigious people are crazy. We don't want to. Listen, we live in a litigious society, but hey, it is what it is. Later on in the next hour, we've got Tom Mackey from Dana Insulation. And Tom's going to teach us all the trends in insulation. What's green? What's a good insulation? How to save energy? Items like that. And you know what? It should be fun. We should always have good information because you know what? Insulation is one of the inexpensive ways to save energy and quiet down your home. So we're going to be talking about that with trends. And we're going to be also talking about how to plan home improvements for the new year, kitchen renovation ideas. We got a lot more coming on. At first, I want to answer this week's mailbag question.
Let's go to the mailbag, brought to you by the UPS Store. The UPS Store. Pack, ship, print, mailboxes, and more.
So if you ever have a question for me, just go to hireitdone.com, click on Ask Adam, or just email me direct, adam@hireitdone.com. Dear Adam, after the snow we got on New Year's, I went to the store to look for some ice melter. I was surprised at the amount of options from EcoSafe, pet-friendly, to concrete safe. Are there any real differences between these types of ice melt, or is it all just marketing mumbo jumbo? Well, it's a good question. So if you have pets, obviously you want to do pet-friendly ice melters. But let's talk about ice melters. Ice melters are like, potassium chloride, sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, all kinds of chlorides. And what it is, it's a chemical reaction between the water and the air. And it heats up. That heat melts ice, basically. But if you have pets, your little paws on your pets, the pads, they call them pads, little fingertips, they can be irritated. Salt can get between them. What happens then is it irritates them, and then if they ingest it because they're licking their paws and trying to get it clean, could make it even worse. So you got to be careful. And then like calcium chloride is what's used for concrete. Did you just have a concrete driveway this year? Anytime this year, from March through November, if you did concrete, you don't want to put salt on it. You want to go at least through a season. And the reason is because salt can damage concrete, but you want to use calcium chloride. But anyways, when you go to a local hardware store, you can always look, it says pet friendly. But the reason is because it irritates your pet's feet. And so best thing for you to do is to find one on the label that says pet friendly. I would say go to your local hardware store or big box store, and you'll be fine. Now, if you ever have another question like that, just email me. Again, adam@hireitdone.com. Always follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. In fact, we're Facebook Live right now. We got a pretty big audience always going on the weekends. But if you want some information, just email me. I'll always help you out. That's what we want to do. Coming up next, though, I'm going to be talking about some of the most popular kitchen renovation ideas going into the new year. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network.
HireItDone.com. When there's work to be done around or in your home, when there's money to be spent, you don't want to go wrong. We're people you can trust. Get advice from us. What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
Yes, that's right. It's the weekend. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. It's a great Saturday. Last Saturday of the year. What's on your plan, 2020? Well, there's a lot going on next year. And so let me give you the economic update for 2020 in the home improvement business. Since it's an election year, the economy is going to be good. The renovation business is going to be booming like it has been for the last couple of years. Finding good contractors, good luck. Even Hire It Done has trouble finding good contractors. My contractors are the best. However, they're busy. So what does that mean to you, the homeowner? If you're thinking of doing a renovation project, start now. Landscaping, get on the schedule now. Kitchen, bath, basement remodeling, call the best. A roof, that's the one thing we can get to you in a couple of days. I have the best roofers. I know that a lot of people out there, oh, you think you have the best roofer? Listen, let me say this. There are a lot of good roofers out there. Even guys that are not part of Hire It Done, there's good roofers. I can tell you a dozen of them. And there's a lot of, for every good roofer, there's 10 bad ones. So as a homeowner, what do? How do you know the pricing's correct? You know, you see the advertisements on TV, half off labor, 2 for 1, 99 cents a foot. What is all that fuzzy math? It's a bunch of garbage. You want a good roof? How about one that doesn't leak? How about one that lasts 50 years? At Hire It Done, that's what you get. We guarantee it. My contractors guarantee it. And they're as good or better than everyone else out there. It's that simple. You know who my contractors are. A lot of people say, oh, this and that. Well, they have to pass the pre-screening to even get in the Hire It Done. That's why we don't have every roofer in there. And a lot of roofers are scared to compete. I have a crybaby roofer that doesn't participate in Hire It Done because he thinks that the pricing is going to go down. I said, go down. It's called competition, dummy. The pricing goes down because people are competing for your business. That's why. Homeowners win. The roofers compete, the homeowners win. I should call him Roof 2 because he's not even close to 1. That's the best part about it. The guy's a complete moron and a troublemaker, stirs the pot. Anyways, I digress. If you want a roof that doesn't leak, just go to HireItDone.com. I guarantee you my roofers are better than 99% out there. So what does that mean to you? Well, it means that if you want hassle-free home improvement, that's why I exist. If there were all great contractors and there were no bad contractors, Hire It Done would not exist. That's the best part about it. So now we know that I exist. It's where you find good contractors. That's all. And what helps you with that is my advice. Personally, I'm local. I'm accessible.
Did you know there's more than one Las Vegas? There's the Strip with families on vacation and questionable odds. Then there's downtown Vegas, the original gambling and entertainment mecca. That's where you'll find the D Las Vegas. Book your stay today at thed.com. The D Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Vegas.
Northville Lumber's Novi Home Design Center is Metro Detroit's best window and door showroom. The Novi Home Design Center has solutions for replacement, remodeling, and new construction featuring Anderson windows. The window that looks great even when the weather doesn't. Go to NoviHomeDesignCenter.com.
What you don't know can hurt you. Hire HireItDone.com.
Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Thanks for tuning in. First, I want to take a quick moment to talk about Salt Sale Saturday. Say that 10 times fast. Salt Sale Saturday at Beauchamp Water Treatment Solutions in Brighton. And now they have a new location in Waterford. That's right, Waterford. Every Saturday you get DuraCube regular at an unbelievably low $5.99 for a 40-pound bag. Get the DuraCube Red Out for $6.99 a bag, and potassium chloride for $19.99 a bag. Plus 5 gallons of bottled water for $2.99 each. That's a pretty good idea. So get them bottled water too. You know, the water in your house is never what you think. And I tell you what, you want clean water? Call Beauchamp. They did a reverse osmosis for me, and I've never been happier. Like, you know, I used to go get a case of water, go to, you know, big box store, Costco, wherever. I'd buy it by the cases. And now I'm thinking, I got it coming out of my faucet. And it tests better, tastes better. It's better all around. Anyways, and I got those like insulated canisters and all that. What was I thinking? It was the best thing I ever did. So, with that being said, what's going on in your kitchen for 2020? Kitchens are at the top of almost every homeowner's list, okay? Many people buy houses just for kitchens or remodel their kitchen as soon as they can. You see, remember this. It's like a nucleus of your house. When you're at your home or you're at someone else's house, where does everyone hang out? Where is everybody hanging out in your house? It's usually in the kitchen. With that, so we want you to be in the kitchen, right? So what's good about it? Well, granite countertops, tile backsplashes, stainless steel appliances, homeowners want it all. But when it comes to time to sit down with your contractor and tell them what the specifics of what you actually want, oftentimes people draw a blank. This phenomenon is more common than you might think. It stems from homeowners focusing on what they don't want in their current kitchen rather than what they do want in the remodel. So if that happens to you, don't panic. I guess, what's my dream kitchen? My dream kitchen has got a deep fryer, like a McDonald's. You know, I want to be able to put a basket of fryer down, make just all kinds of fried foods. I know that's no good because then it's not healthy. But I want a deep fryer in my kitchen. I want a gas cooktop. I want it all. What does your kitchen want? It's what you want to talk about, right? So recently, one of my contractors, Jim Seggy from Seggy Renovations, him and I were talking about the dream kitchen and what is he thinking for 2020 and what are some of the homeowners. And Jim, he's been stressing that his company is not really an order taker. He's like, Adam, I'm a designer. And when he selects a remodeling contractor, when homeowners select a contractor for your kitchen, okay, you need one that knows how to do design. You need one that knows how to be a builder. It's not just easy to be a great contractor. You got to be good at everything. And Jim's firm, Seggy Renovations, he's really good at the design and he's got like a full balance, you know. He's not huge, like he's not like one of the big kitchen companies. He's more boutique. And so if you want a guy that's hands-on and every day calls you and that kind of guy, he's your guy. But anyways, he was giving me some really good advice. Here, Jim gave me a list of features that he finds a lot of his clients are choosing. So here's a trend for 2020. This is what people are looking for in kitchens this year. First thing, when people want to make a splash, right? Updating your cooking and food prep area with a tile backsplash is visually appealing. Functional and long-lasting design choices, and it allows plenty of room for your own creativity to shine through. Yeah, now with backsplashes being mirrored, glass, subway style, designed, and people are doing a lot of accent colors. It's pretty cool. It allows that too. So backsplashes are big time. It's a big focal point now. How about neutral colors? Unless you live in the trendiest neighborhood or you plan to stay in your house indefinitely, then going over the top with bright colors and bold designs might not be the best idea. However, if you focus on like neutral colors and designs, you'll keep it pretty consistent for years to come. You know, listen, I can tell you right now, 5 years ago, white kitchens were out. Next thing you know, people are like, oh, yeah, the shaker white kitchen. It's all the rage. Now everyone's like, oh, gray's coming back. I'm already over the gray. How about countertop bling? Countertop business has been huge, right? The one place where it's okay to go big or go home is with your countertop. I agree with that. Whether you opt for granite, marble, ceramic, or porcelain, there's always limitless options for color, style, and design, allowing you to make your countertop your focal point in your kitchen. Now, who puts marble on their countertops in a kitchen? Do you understand if you have olive oil and you drip it on the marble, it's going to stain? You got red wine on your marble countertop, it's going to stain? What are you doing? And what about these designers who are decorators? We'll only call them designers, we'll call them decorators. My friend of mine says, I hired a decorator. She told me to get marble. I said, did she warn you about staining? He goes, no. Now he's got stains on his marble top in his kitchen. He's so mad. He calls him. What do I do? I said, you got to call Griffin. You got to call a couple of these guys out here. And then, they charge you. It's going to cost him $1,000 to get it out of his marble top. Oi. A big oi is what I'm talking about. So anyways, how about painting your old cabinets? That's something that people like to do. With a little work and a few basic skills, you can brighten a large or small kitchen design with fresh paint and a new kitchen hardware or new cabinet hardware. Think about that, friends. For a clean, sophisticated look, consider neutral tones or a bright shade of white. That's not a bad way to go. White cabinets again. Here we go. White, 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 white. You know how it is. Anyways, how about no one's on an island? Right? From dining to dish doors to comfortable seating, islands are much more than just preparing foods these days. That's right. You can use your island for prep. It's a workstation now. That's the best part about it. And you need to know that. Now, what about appliances that save? That's right. One of the most popular kitchen updates is installing new energy-efficient appliances. A new range, a new microwave. Of course, you want Energy Star rated refrigerators. Refrigerators are cool, but do you get those ones that are like, I don't know, the more parts, the more electronics, the more stuff fails. I like one that's a battle tank, Now, another part of kitchens that are trendy and that's big time is flooring. We got some really good flooring companies in Higher Done. If you're looking for flooring, let me just say this. You got the right place. If a total kitchen transformation is what you're after, it's time to redo your flooring as well. Many choices are available nowadays, and if you're looking for the durable, easy to clean option, and you love the traditional appeal of hardwood, consider a wood look alternative such as luxury vinyl tile or luxury vinyl planks, or maybe even a porcelain or a glazed ceramic tile. It's not a bad thing. Now, what about opening up and updating? Once you've transformed your kitchen, you'll want to show it off. When planning a remodel, look for opportunities to open up the space and incorporate more seating options, like a breakfast table, corner bench, or add a bar top to your kitchen island and bring in a few stools. Looking at what other homeowners are doing can give you some ideas. But at the end of the day, there's no substitute for sitting down with an experienced renovation contractor and talking about what you really want to do. Higher Done, we have really good contractors. Kitchens, Renovation by Design, Jim Segi Renovations. Hard Rock Stoneworks. I mean, come on now. Planning your renovation project is the key. Coming up next, folks, friends, I'm going to be joined by Dan Welch, Danway Home Inspection Services. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Higher Done Radio Network. Done. My name's Adam Helfman. I want to take a quick moment to talk about Salt Sale Saturdays at Beauchamp Water Treatment Solutions. They're in Brighton and now open in Waterford. Every Saturday you get DuraCube regular at an unbelievably low price of $5.99 a bag, 40-pound bag that is. You get the DuraCube Red out for $6.99 a bag if you have little bit of rust in your water. And, of course, potassium chloride for $19.99 a bag, plus 5 gallons of bottled water for $2.99 each. I'll tell you what, if you have a water softener in your house and you want one, these guys are really good at water softening and water filters. I have them put one in my house before they became partners with Higher Ton, and I love it. Literally. Like, I look forward to drinking that water. Anyways, it's time to go green.
It's time for Going Green with Hire It Done. Brought to you by Consumers Energy, Business Energy Efficiency Programs.
Even though it's been on the warmer side the last couple of weeks, I got to be honest with you, cold weather's always right around the corner, and this morning is the start of it, is I can tell you. This time of year when a lot of furnaces are breaking down, you need to be repaired or replaced. And one of the key questions I get from homeowners are who in the market for a new furnace is whether or not they should opt for a high-efficiency furnace, or if so, how high-efficiency should you go? Today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about shopping for a furnace. And later on in the hour, don't forget, we have a heating and cooling contractor who's going to either dispute or validate these claims of mine, which makes sense. So let me start by taking for a moment when to get a new furnace. If your furnace is 15 years or older, an upgrade is definitely worth considering. 15 years ago was 2004, right? 2005. And you had
Owner-operators right now. CNAC Transportation and Superior Global are fast-growing, Michigan-made, veteran-owned companies that offer competitive pay and top benefits, dedicated freight, and lots regular home time. Call CNAC Transportation and Superior Global today, 734-225-9887. That's 734-225-9887. Or on the web at cnactrans.com.
Keep the customers happy. That's what we do at Village Ford in Dearborn. We're very big on happy customers, and J.D. Powers agrees. After an in-depth look at everything we do, J.D. Powers has named Village Ford a Dealer of Excellence, the first Ford Dealer of Excellence in Michigan. It's quite an honor. Let's face it, Dealer of Excellence has a nice ring to it, but it was never the goal. We're just trying to keep our customers happy. At Village Ford, Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, we have to be better.
Hi, Samantha here with Henderson Glass, your Michigan glass expert since 1915. Did you know that repairing or replacing your windshield is vital to the safety and structural integrity of your vehicle? If weakened due to untended damage, it will not provide optimal protection in an accident. Henderson Glass deals with all major insurance companies, so we can help you file your claim. And for your convenience, we provide free mobile service. Don't delay repairing your windshield. Call us at 1-800-ASK-GLASS or visit hendersonglass.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket. What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Fourth generation contractor, home improvement expert, and just generally nice guy. Just ask all my friends. All two of them. Anyways, you bought a house this year. Lots of people buying a house. It's actually a seller's market, right? There's not a lot of new houses being built, but there's a lot of houses that people have bought and sold and lots of renovation. In fact, if you think about it, you buy a house, you need it inspected. And you're relying on a home inspector to find defects and find any major problems, so you don't spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000, million, 1.2, 2.5, whatever the number is. You don't spend all this money on a house, and you got yourself a lemon, because there's no lemon law for houses. There's just lawyers. So joining me on the Hire It Done radio show is a longtime friend and a benchmark home inspector. One of the best in the business. Dan Welch from Danway Home Inspections. Good morning, Dan.
Hey, good morning, Adam.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to be back.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
My producer's sitting out there.
I'm waiting. I've been waiting by the phone for the last year. But, we've had a great journey. You had so many radio programs. You were doing TV and then all the projects you're doing downtown. So we've always interconnected, and we always
do business, but on the radio show I'm talking.
Yeah.
So reintroduce yourself to the Hire It Done audience. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Oh, I'm Dan Welch. I have a company called Danway Home Inspections. I used to be Dearborn Modernization way back. So I've been around the building trades all my life. My dad built 18 plants for Ford Motor Car Company. I went to school in Europe, and I was groomed to build plants for Fords. But I took another turn. I started getting into historical renovations, Greenfield Village, and then I just love the trades. I love building. I love using my hands.
Renovation, man, it's the way to go.
Yeah, it's an exciting process. It's a creative process. It's a financial benefit when you do well to your home. It's the womb. It's the sacred space where you raise your family, your children. It's very important.
So how long have you been a home inspector?
Probably going on about 20 years.
Wow.
I got into it when it first was not an industry. A friend of mine, Chris Campo from the Campo Builders.
Yeah, I know them. Good guy. I know the whole family, actually.
Yeah, I was very involved with them. But Chris came back up he was building in Atlanta, then he came back up and we were talking. He says there's a home industry inspection process that's going to come up here to the Michigan area. And so we got in it at the very root level, and we got trained, and we understood what we needed to give to the people. So, yeah, I was on the ground floor when it first happened.
It's interesting. I got a question for you. How come, and explain this to me, the home inspection business, you got to be a licensed builder, okay? You got to be licensed in the state of Michigan to be a builder.
Right.
Why in the home inspection business the state doesn't make you be licensed? Explain that to me.
Well, I was a member of ASHI, the American Society of Home Inspectors, so this was debated a long time ago. And certain states do have licensing for home inspectors. Here in Michigan, we don't have that. There's pros and cons to it. Just because you can take an aptitude test, or you can take a course and in 3 days learn what's on the test, take the test, get your license, and then people think you have this high-end credential. That means you just kind of paid to get to this home inspection license. So that's it. It's a non-regulated industry. It just happens to be that way in Michigan.
Okay, well, that's what I'm thinking. But I just don't understand that. Does it make it any better or worse?
Well, that's the pros and cons. They say that, it's like, when I was a licensed builder, it's a really expensive test, and you really had to know what you were talking about. Now they got courses where they guarantee that in 2 days, by taking this course, you can go down to Lansing and get a builder's license.
2 days? Just 2 days to become a licensed?
Yeah. I mean, just
8 hours a day?
Yeah. What they're doing is they're just telling you what's on the test, and so you're memorizing.
Where's that? I want to do that.
That's the deal.
Okay, so the barriers to entry are what's difficult. Obviously, we all see that, but nothing beats experience, right?
Right. Exactly.
That's the bottom line. I mean, I walk into a house, people are amazed, and I'm not trying to. They're looking at me like, "How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know this?" And it just comes from experience.
Yeah, you were raised with it. Your grandfather had Fairway Construction. They're doing the first edition. So as a snot-nosed little kid, you were growing around. You were with them. You were with your family.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I was a snot-nosed kid for sure.
Yeah, we all were.
The problem with me, and this isn't about me, but I'm just going to say it. From the neck down, I'm worth minimum wage. Okay. Yeah. Literally, my dad put me on the site when they were building dormers. My grandfather invented the dormer.
Yeah. Fairway Construction.
Yeah.
So
he was my dad, leader. When I was in beginning of high school, over the summer, my dad put me on the construction crew with the Preventures.
Right.
That was their name. They were the best. And I didn't last 3-4 hours. They call my dad up and say, "Get him out of here. This guy's counting 2x4s. He's asking questions. He's interrupting us. Stop." They tell me to move a load of 2x4s over here to over there. I'm like, why? What's wrong with you guys picking them up? And then they were like cutting like 16 footers and 8 footers, and they were like chopping up. I go, there's 8 footers over there. Why are you cutting it in half? And they're looking at me like, shut up, kid. So at noon, my dad came and got me. He's like, listen, it's clear that you're not the working type. You're not the carpenter type. You're not that type. My dad opened his trunk, pulled out a box of brochures, said to me, go up to the end of the street, grab these brochures, knock on every door.
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean knock on the door? He goes, if they answer, smile, introduce yourself, and tell them your family's in the neighborhood doing renovation. If they want a free quote, give them the brochure. If they're not answering the door, just stick the brochure in the door. He goes, for every appointment you make, or every
lead or whatever,
right,
yeah.
I'm going to give you $20. I'm like, deal.
Yeah.
I'm making 10 appointments a day.
Yeah.
You know, my dad's like, what are you telling these people? And then one of the sales guys from my dad's business calls my dad and goes, we're not giving 30% off. We're not offering half off. What's this? Who's this person telling people that, you know, you get free appliances if you get a kitchen? I'm like, Dad, what do you expect? You know, I was looking at TV at the time. Oh, yeah. $99 window, all that fake fuzzy math.
You were learning it on the ground level. You know, nobody was telling you how to do it, so you were just kind of innovating.
Well, my dad figured it out that I'm more of a mouthpiece as opposed to. So he made me go to school. I went to college, degree, blah 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 blah. Right.
Right.
I didn't learn anything there.
I
honestly partied my butt off at college.
Yeah.
He begged me to go to law school. Big mistake. He never did. But I learned it all in the field. I learned it after I got out of college. Went to work for him, and he put me as a project manager. He put me in the field, but not doing the labor, because I was no good at it. And then he put me into marketing and then the accounting and the business side of it. And that's where I actually got my experience. But
yeah,
evolving like you have, you and I have been on home inspections. We've seen hundreds of houses.
Thousands. You know, I mean, I've over the years, there's just tremendous amount. At one point, I was using it to supplement my income. You know, I was still doing my renovations.
But you still do a little bit of renovations, don't you? Once in a while, homeowners can call and say, hey, you help them.
Yeah. I love working with my hands. I mean, I have a real love for that, and I have a appreciation for building materials, homes, and people. And if I can do something creative or something that's very beneficial, yeah, I will help those people.
Which is important.
Important.
Right now, the home inspection market has infiltrated the real estate. So nobody buys a home without a home inspection.
Yeah. It
doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah. Well, the real estate agents realize that they can buffer their liability by getting a home inspection, where before they were going, oh, this is a sweetheart, this is a beautiful house, and it's so, so they were actually fluffing the house up and selling it, and then the people would realize all the problems afterwards. So the inspection process buffers the real estate agent, kind of takes that liability away from them. Well, if the inspector said it was okay, it must be okay. But what happens is a lot of inspectors have relationships with those real estate agents where they're getting their work, so they're not going to say everything that needs to be said or kind of gloss over certain things because they don't want to lose that business connection.
It's interesting. And that's why it's important to have a home inspector that's neutral.
Yes, independent.
And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about two types of inspectors. There's my opinion.
Okay.
There's the deal maker and the deal breaker. We're going to take a quick break. My name's Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Do you trust the plan? I do. We've got Gary Bolson from Men on the Move in studio. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Adam.
How are you?
I am wonderful, thanks.
Glad to have you here.
Last Saturday of the decade.
Can you of the decade, not of the year, but of the decade. Whoa, what are we gonna do?
I don't know. Blow it up.
So, did you have a good Christmas?
I did, thanks.
We
have part 2 Christmas today.
Really?
We do.
Ooh, part 2. Give me part 2. What's that?
We have, my stepdaughter and her boyfriend, and my daughter and her boyfriend, and my father-in-law and his girlfriend, and
so you got a little bit of an expanded Christmas. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest.
Get good food again.
Well, here's the thing. I'm Jewish. So for me, it's like Hanukkah. And as a kid, I used to be all upset with my parents. I'm like, we got, Santa Claus. What's up with that? My mom looked at me and she goes, let me tell you something, son. It's Christmas every day for you. As much as I liked hearing that, it wasn't good enough.
Right.
So I just said, you know what? I'm going to celebrate Christmas. So I get gifts and I like all that. And you know what? I had a good time.
There's nothing wrong with being diverse.
I try. Listen, I'm the Jew who eats bacon anyway. So it's all good.
Nothing wrong with that either.
I'm an equal opportunity person.
I hear you.
So, Gary, Men on the Move is the Hired Done pre-screen mover. You do fantastic work, by the way. The raving reviews from all our clients. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
Is 2020 going to be a big year for you?
You know what? I'm looking that it is. I bought my partner out in March of 2019, and I've got new things on the horizon, making some changes to better the company and expand the company. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I like that. Thank you very much. So people, typically moving is like a spring, summer thing, right? In the fall. This time of year, people aren't moving over Christmas, New Year's, are they?
Yeah, we actually we're up about probably 15% from where we were last December. I mean, things have been going pretty good. The economy's pretty good. People are moving. We've got, my guys we got 4 trucks out today, and New Year's Eve we got 4 trucks out on New Year's Eve day. So it's we're still hopping.
That's interesting. And I guess that makes sense. You can move any time of the year, I guess.
Correct.
It don't matter.
Yeah, the only time in the last 28 years, the only time we haven't moved somebody is actually on Christmas Day. Every other holiday, Thanksgiving, we've moved people in the past.
And so you don't have a problem doing that as long as it's planned properly?
Yeah, I mean, as long as my guys, I have a couple of guys that are willing to work. I mean, I put it in their court. I mean,
you guys want to work,
right?
You get paid a little extra,
right? And then we'll do the job for them. If my guys, don't want to work, they want to spend the time with their families or whatever. I mean, that comes first.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me. We're talking with Gary Bolson. The company's called Men on the Move. His website is MichiganMovers.com. Someone wants to move in the springtime. Is now the time to plan it? They should call you now and you have like a planning kit and help and tips and all that?
I mean, they should make an initial phone call at least, ask a couple questions that might be on their mind, ask how the process works. Our website does a pretty good job of explaining that as well. If you don't want to talk to somebody on the phone, go to the website. We even have an online quote form on the website that they can fill out a quote at 3 a.m. if they want, and within 24 hours, they'll get a price back on their move.
Oh, that's even better. So the website's is www.michiganmovers.com. So Gary, let's give some tips to the homeowners right now who are, there's all kinds of moves. There's moving to a new house. There's moving out, downsizing. There's moving out, renovation, meaning the big renovation job. Let's talk about that one because since I know a lot of contractors, and I talked about the contractors and they said, yeah, we need a name of a good movie.
350 to help today.
What you don't know can hurt you. HiredDone.com.
Welcome back. This is Hired Done. My name's Adam Helfman. We've got Dan Welch from Danway Home Inspections in studio. We've been talking about home inspecting industry. Do you need a home inspector? How do you know if a good one is even good? Well, we're going to talk about 2 types of home inspectors that I classify as. The one type is a deal maker, and the other type is a deal breaker. Have you heard that before, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Don't name any names of deal breakers.
No, we're not going to name names. But, yeah, that's an important part of that whole process. Now, the way I look at it, I have a large background in building and renovation, historical renovation, and stuff like that. I went to ASHI conferences. So ongoing education is really important in this industry.
Continuing education is the key.
It's the key, and there's so much available.
I tell people for my radio show, I still go out and participate in home improvement projects just so I can keep my finger on the pulse of always being current.
Right.
Just like you have to as well.
Yeah. I mean, I was just reviewing the building, the largest building show in the world. It was in Germany just a short period of time ago. But I just like looking at all the new products, the new innovations and all this. And, it's just seeing this and as they're being introduced into the American audience. Yeah, then you're familiar with it. So it intrigues me. It's stimulating. I love watching it.
let's give you the qualifications, or let's do two things: a deal breaker and a deal maker.
Okay.
The home inspector that's a deal maker.
All right.
Let's profile that guy.
Okay. The deal maker is probably somebody who has a lot of experience and knowledge in the building envelope and all the
Let me preface
components.
This. When we say deal maker, folks, what I'm talking about is when you buy a house and you get your home inspector, and he comes out and he is inspecting the house and finds defects. The way he presents the defects to the homeowner is important, and that makes him a deal maker or a deal breaker. So in your situation, you're always, to me, the deal maker.
Right.
And what do I mean by that? The profile of that guy is someone who sees a problem. So let's use an example in a house. What's a typical common problem you see in every house?
I would think that it would be like building envelope outside to start with, drainage planes, how's the water coming off the property,
So let's say
how's
it's
it
not draining
impacting the house.
Yeah. So let's say there's water puddling back to the foundation.
Yeah.
Some inspectors, the deal maker is going to say, hey, water's pitched negatively towards the house, and it's laying at the foundation. You always say possible causes, possible problems.
Right.
But then you offer the solution.
Right. That's the big key to this.
The deal breaker says the same thing, except he says foundation in danger of leaking, mold could happen, and danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
That's the difference between the deal maker and the deal breaker.
Exactly. Where you're looking at a house, you're seeing the potential of the house, and then you're going, okay, so maybe some of the areas are a little bit low and all this. Well, this is a great opportunity based upon what you want to do to this house, that you could actually do some landscaping, improve the projection of the property, the appearance. You could incorporate underground drainage from the gutters to the back of the property or to areas where it wouldn't impact the house. So there's a positive part of that you can enhance. Now, depending on money and what they're planning on, their future plans are, this might not be part of it. But you're seeing that does the house have good bones? I mean, does the structure good? Is the foundation good?
People want to hear your opinion of the inspection, and that's important. So again, we're talking with Dan Welch, Danway Home Inspection. How many home inspections have you done?
I would say probably over 10,000 over the years.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but as you look over, I used to do 2-3 a day at one point when I was doing it, as a thing, and it was just over time, and I still inspect in so many ways. I mean, it's a lot of people that aren't even buying a house, or they're living in an existing house, and they just want somebody to come out there and put it in perspective. Where do we stand? What's going on? Where are we gonna, what do we have to?
That's the whole point.
Where are we gonna have to put money into this in the next 5 years?
So let's talk about when a home inspector screws up.
Okay.
Misses something major.
Yeah.
Homeowner buys the house, they close, they move in, and all of a sudden, water's coming in the foundation. Or they wake up and their throat's all raspy, and they're like, something's wrong. And then all of a sudden, there's mold.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sky is falling.
Right.
Then they get all mad. They call the real estate agent. You sold me a lemon. The real estate agent says, well, the inspector didn't catch you. I don't know. And then they call the inspector, and then they call their attorney, and then they're like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Where do we go from here? Yeah.
Can you sue a home inspector?
Yeah, for sure. You can sue anybody for anything. But are you going to be successful? That's the deal. What a home inspector does, he has a pre-inspection agreement that he requires the homeowner to sign. The pre-inspection agreement is basically saying, if you have any discrepancies or any problems, and it has a lot of disclaimers to protect the home inspector. But then the bottom line is that if you have a discrepancy or a challenge, or you want some type of restitution or reparation of money or financial, you have to go up to an arbitrary board.
Okay,
that's what they put in
mediation
there.
Or arbitration,
and the arbitrary board is that home inspectors.
I've always said, and that's funny you say that. I say there's a clause. One of the things that I had, it's called the limits of liability.
Yeah,
And that clause limits the liability to the cost of the inspection. So the
Right.
most the homeowner can get back is the refund of the $400. Is that an average price, $400 now, or is it $500?
Yeah. It depends on the size of the house. I usually do my inspections for $400 or a little bit less, But
Depending
if
on
it
the
gets
size,
it gets into a bigger home, it takes
Okay.
more time, it's more furnaces, stuff like that. But yeah, it's what I always tell the people that all I'm doing is I'm giving you an opinion in a point in space and time, which basically means I'm looking at this house, and there's so many components to this house. You have a furnace, you have electrical, you have plumbing. Now, if you hired individual contractors, like a plumbing contractor to come out and look at the plumbing, roofing contractor, and you paid those people all those fees, you're going to get into, maybe a couple $1,000s,
It's big money, big money.
Big money.
How many items in a house do you inspect?
Well, I'd say there's about 3,500 that I'm looking at, and those are grouped into areas, but I'm looking at the whole house.
How long does a home inspection average take?
I usually,
2,500 square foot house.
I would say 3 hours.
You get in the attic?
Pardon?
You get up in the attic, or you just pop your head in the attic?
No, I get up in the attic. If I can get up there and walk around, I'm in there. Or if I can crawl, I'll crawl.
You take pictures.
Yeah, and I take pictures. Now, I always find that the problem, because you get up into an attic and you look, and it's a long attic, it's dirty, and it's got, stuff that and a lot of guys go, I don't want to go there, so they don't. And normally those are where the problems are.
Right.
And
the minute you say I'm not going there, that's where the problem is every time. It's called Murphy's Law.
It's Murphy's Law. And it's just so I always find myself, I push myself and do those.
So you're at the house several hours. When does the report get produced and sent back to the homeowner?
Well, what I found in the early days, I was, you would reproduce the report right there. You would do the inspection, and then you just had like a
carbon copy,
check box, boom, 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 boom.
Polaroid camera. Here's your instant photo.
Yeah. Here's what the analysis. But what I'm doing, what I find that I do now is I don't usually give the report right there if it's an important inspection, which most people would consider that purchase important. What I find that if I accumulate the data, so I'm looking at all these components, I'm taking pictures and and I'm looking at all this.
Yeah.
I need to reflect on it. I need to go back and sit at my space.
It's a lot of information. That's
silent.
Right. Process everything.
Yeah, because you're there. Usually there's a real estate agent there. There's a homeowner there. And everybody's talking, asking questions, and so it turns your attention away from your concentration. So if I go back and I sit in my office and I take that time to review that whole inspection and look at the pictures and, I have more information that I can provide that's important to the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's important. So that's where the value of
that's
the
where the
extra
value
experience comes
in.
So they know. But with the digital world, you can email the
right, well,
that's
it's
the
real
best part.
simple, but I see that process is so involved in so many details that if I can sit and reflect and think about it and give my attention properly in a silent position and think about all those things, then I can provide more and more thorough information.
Can you believe? Look how fast time goes super fast. Dan Welch, Danway Home Inspections. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah, it was nice being
we
here.
Got to have you back again.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. If you have any questions, you can always email me, adam@hireitdone.com. Anyways, we've got Gary Shelley and Andrew Perlin from Running Right Heating, Cooling, and Studio. And the question is, what are the top items that break on a furnace when a homeowner calls you? And, of course, a furnace always breaks on the weekend when it's the coldest day of the year. Murphy's Law is always overlooking at that. So, Gary, tell me, what are your thoughts?
Well, most of the furnaces today have two motors on them, and the motors can fail. It can be something as simple as an igniter that may go bad, which isn't a major issue. Sometimes even just cleaning what we'd call a sensor in there. There's most of the issues that you have with the furnace can be related to the safety portion of it, because it's always checking things that are going on in the furnace to make sure it's safe. If not, it'll shut it off. If the control board doesn't like what it's seeing inside the furnace temperature or the flamed in light, it'll just shut the unit down, and that's when you need service, obviously.
Clearly. So that's important. And is those expensive things to fix?
Well, a lot of those can be corrected ahead of time. That's why a good maintenance check on the thing to kind of see how things are going, clean the sensor, take a look at the igniter, see how old it is, listen to the motors, see if they sound like, because a lot of times they'll give you some warning that they're going to go bad. They'll start making noise and let you know a little bit ahead of time, and you may not even hear it upstairs, but it may not sound right to our technician, and they might recommend doing it before it breaks on that weekend when it's a lot tougher to get somebody out.
So someone can call you for a furnace tune-up, and in the tune-up they can check all that stuff.
We can look at those things, and in a lot of cases you can see things that may be going wrong, and that's a lot of what's happening. Two things on a checkup is safety, to make sure it's safe, and the other thing is to see if we can see anything that may be coming up in the future that might fail on you, and get it done before it happens.
Well, that's the best way, preventative.
Yes.
Well, everyone wants that. That's interesting. It's interesting. So at what point does a homeowner who has a furnace, let's say it's been doing fine for 15 years, let's say it's from the 90s or the late 2000s, what do they do? When do you decide it's a new furnace as opposed to repairing it? Is there a rule of thumb? Is there a formula? Because I have my own idea, but I'm just wondering, what do you guys tell a homeowner?
Typically, I mean, if the cost of the repairs are, a third to a half of what it is to purchase a new one, I think you move forward with a new one with rebates and things that are out there to upgrade. You'll get some of your money back just in the savings of the energy bills. But, we try and take into account, people's budgets and work with them accordingly.
Well, it makes perfect sense, and that's what I thought. Gary, what is your advice?
Well, we look at the same thing. If you start getting into putting in an exorbitant amount of money into an older furnace, is the payback going to be there for you? Because even though you may replace one or two parts in there, you've still got all the other parts that are probably older and can have issues. And then if you did have an older unit with a heat exchanger that could fail on you, then that would be something that would push it over the limit of repair. But as Andrew was saying, the upgrade to the new one is typically going to be a more efficient furnace, and always is, and the payback can be there along with what you may have needed to spend on the other one just to get it up and running.
Right. Well, that's the whole point. So there's got to be like a threshold. So I was told, and you guys tell me, right? So let's say a new high efficiency furnace today, the latest and greatest one to save money, is $5,000. Is that a fair? Is that fall in that?
Yeah, you're going to be in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Okay, so if the repair is 30% of that, which is $1,500, so if you have a $1,500 furnace repair, that point is the tipping point where you should say, all right, now it's time to consider a new furnace.
Correct.
Now, when someone needs a new furnace, Gary, do you recommend a highest efficiency available, or does it depend?
Well, obviously, it would be something to do with the budget, obviously, that part of it, because the higher efficiency ones are more expensive, but their payback is there. We always offer that and do promote those higher efficiency ones for better comfort and overall efficiency of the system. So the payback is normally there for the higher efficiency furnaces. And then today, with the utilities, have rebates that will apply to those, which will offset the cost a little bit also on the higher efficiency furnaces.
Now, let me ask you a question. How leaky ducts, the ductwork in a house, now newer code says you have to seal them when you're putting in a new construction and all that, correct, which increases efficiency as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, and because a lot of times that those leaks and things can be going into areas that aren't doing you any good as far as a loss.
So let me ask you, what if you have an existing house and you know there's leaky ductwork? Is there something you guys can do to help seal up ductwork?
Yep.
Well, we would take a look at what the system looks like as far as if we feel that it's worth getting into that. Some homes, depending on where the ductwork's located, it may not be a good thing to spend money on something like that. But we would look at the system and we can tell you whether the duct sealing would be a good thing for you.
Is our duct blaster? Do you guys ever do any of that stuff at all? Or?
Well, we don't actually get into the sealing of it. There are systems out there now that they use to seal it from the inside.
Is it like Aero Seal, Aero Gel? Like
yes, there's a couple different brand names out there right now.
It's never really taken off.
No, I don't. I haven't heard a lot about it. I've seen presentations on it and that, and I think it's better in a situation where your ductwork might be in what we call an unconditioned space, where maybe it might be in an attic or crawl space, something like that. You don't want to lose the heat to there. I'm not sure that the cost for that, and I don't know all the numbers on it, but maybe in a basement application where your ductwork's in the basement, it might not pay off for you there, but I would say something like that would definitely pay off if you have ductwork in unconditioned space, which would be the attic or crawl space, something like that.
So what happens if you have like a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house and then the kids are away? Do you recommend the homeowners shut the vents in the bedrooms that they don't use?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't like to see people turn off too many of them. Maybe 1 or 2 is okay, but if you start closing too many of the registers, the furnace along with the air conditioning needs a certain amount of air flowing through it to operate properly.
Okay.
And it can actually cut back on what's going to happen with the furnace. And a lot of these newer ones now are a lot more sensitive to overheating and whatnot because the manufacturers don't want them overheating for obvious reasons. It's not good for it, and it'll end up shutting it down. So if you close too many registers off, then you can start having some issues with the furnace. So 1 or 2 is fine, but I wouldn't get too crazy with closing off too many.
Okay, and that's good advice. I wasn't sure. Now, what about technology today? As things get more smart home, everyone wants the Wi-Fi thermostat. Is there a brand you recommend, or if someone went and got one over the holidays, they're doing all the smart home stuff, can you install it for them?
Yeah, the 2 that we use are.
We use Sensi Wi-Fi, which is it'll give you your humidity reading. And yeah.
Is there an adapter that
it comes over the phone and it'll give you a humidity reading and then your temperature in the house.
Even better, and you can adjust it up and down.
And then we use Ecobee.
Okay, Ecobee.
Yep.
That's connected to everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is smart. So you guys can do it. Now, what happens?
Ring to it, but it was never the goal. We're just trying to keep our customers happy. At Village Ford, Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, we have to be better.
What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
I'm Adam Helfman with Hire It Done. Here with some quick tips that you can use next time you're looking for a contractor. These tips are so crucial, I don't want anyone to hire a contractor before hearing this. Number one. We've been programmed to always get at least 3 bids, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also want to give you permission to say yes when you find the contractor you want. Remember, it might be a few weeks or more before a good contractor is available to start working, and the sooner you decide, the sooner the project starts moving forward. Number 2. Ask the contractor to write down everything that's included. This forces the contractor to think what else is part of the project and what could potentially come up. Additionally, ask the contractor what is not included. This too will force the contractor to think about items of the project that may not be included. Number 3. Get it in writing for how long the job will take. Just understand that this is a reference, not an exact timeline, because no 2 houses or projects are the same. If you think you need a penalty clause for the job taking too long, then be prepared for paying a bonus clause if the project finishes early. Number 4. Look for a contractor who's solution-minded. And what I mean by that is look for someone who identifies and solves problems instead of placing blame. Before you hire someone, ask what happens when a job goes wrong. Great contractors will have great answers. Number 5. You don't necessarily want to hire the cheapest or the most expensive contractor. The cheapest contractors are more likely to cut corners, while the most expensive are not necessarily performing the best work. That's why more often than not, the best value comes from contractors who are priced in the middle of the road. If you like these tips, I've got a whole hour of home improvement advice coming your way. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com. When there's work to be done around or in your home, when there's money to be spent, you don't want
That's right. Good morning. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Home Improvement Chat. Dan Welch from Danway Home Inspection sitting here. We've been talking home improvement, talking home inspection. Are you a deal maker home inspector or are you a deal breaker? There's two kinds of home inspectors. Obviously, you want the deal maker. And what we say about deal makers is that they find defects, but they also provide a solution. Dan, isn't that the right way to do it?
Yeah. I mean, if the guy has knowledge in those fields and he has creative ability and he's, thinking that, you can, or he's been around a lot, he can say, hey, you can do this, you can do that, or this is an opportunity, and, it's time to upgrade certain parts of this home as most older homes need. And that, so the deal maker is kind of not, going and causing a lot of doubt about things. If you have a crack in the wall and people are going, is that structural? Well, a knowledgeable person would say, no, that's not structural. That could be, that's just like a movement that happens over time and
sure.
It's not. But if a guy's not knowledgeable, he's a deal breaker. He's going to go, oh, that could be, the house could be falling down, and so everybody gets scared. And
let me ask you this: what's the number one quality of a good home inspector?
Experience, right? And then a lot of people may have been a heating cooling contractor or somebody, and then they get in the inspection business. Well, their knowledge is really great in that one area. But a good inspector would be somebody that was a builder or somebody that did improvements, that actually worked, with physical parts of the house, and then they can relate that knowledge from a practical standpoint.
How often have you busted a homeowner lying?
How the homeowner's lying?
How often do you bust them?
Oh, see it all the time. When you it's just,
so why homeowners are liars is what you're saying?
They're not lying. They're just protecting their interests, and they have so they want to sell their home, of course. And are they going to disclose everything? I ask direct questions. When that homeowner is there, I ask them direct questions. I always start out going, did you ever have any insurance claims on this house? Was there ever a fire in this house? Was there any water damage in this house?
How about the seller's disclosure? There's a law that says when you fill out when you fill out a real estate, you have to have this called the seller's disclosure.
Sure.
You're supposed to disclose all defects that you know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well,
I love that.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't real knowledgeable, or they kind of plead ignorance. They kind of hide behind that facade of, I didn't remember that.
Now, what about when you have a home inspection on a new home, a new construction? You and I just did one in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Let's not say any names, but that builder.
That was horrible. That builder.
$800,000 house, folks.
Yes.
And the builder.
He was doing a lot of work himself. He wasn't knowledgeable. He was using engineered products that needed you to read the instructions and go to the manufacturer's specifications. Didn't do it. I had to call it out. I had to, say, hey, this is defect. It's not installed properly. The drainage planes are going to cause water to enter this house over a period of time, and then, their real estate agent was all upset because it's a deal and they're looking at commissions. The builder.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. It's a domino effect. Everyone gets crazy. Now, Dan, when a homeowner buys the house and you're inspecting, and the buyer says to you, hey, listen, I want to do new countertops. Can you go in there when you're doing the inspection and check it out and say, yeah, this is an easy job to put new countertops in?
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at all those details. One of the things I might add that happens sometimes is the homeowner will come up to you, or the purchaser will come up to you, the person who wants to buy this house, and says, hey, I'm looking to reduce the price. Can you find a lot of stuff?
Oh, yeah. That's unethical.
It's unethical. I mean, and again, it's like how you view something. You can say, hey, well, these countertops are for mica. And you can look for worn out area. You can say, well, then you can say, well, you have to replace them, but
is there a trend? You see trends in like when you see newer houses, like trends in granite.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like granite is like like the cornerstone of what everybody's doing. Even when people are flipping homes, they'll put the granite countertops in the kitchen, and that's so they can advertise granite countertops.
You want to
and
have
people are just running to that. They're just going thinking
want to
that
hear a
that's,
little home hack?
Oh, it's got granite.
Here's a home hack for you.
Yeah.
Go look for remnants when you're buying granite. Now, there's only a few granite shops in town that have remnants because you got to go to the bigger shops. So the best and the biggest shop in town is Hard Rock Stoneworks.
Right.
They're a higher ton contractor.
Yeah.
Go to their remnant section.
Right.
I promise you'll be thanking me. You'll be telling me how great it is. And by the way, they're having a 50% off sale.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyone wants to get granite this weekend and you go to the remnants, you'll get 50% off remnants. Tell them you got it from Hire It Done.
Yeah. It's like when you go to look at those remnants, what you're looking at is really beautiful stonework that might not, it might not be, that big or but it might be good for a certain amount of kitchen area. It might be good for bathrooms. And it's almost like, like going to the thrift store or or the Salvation Army, and then you see some beautiful piece of furniture that would cost you $10,000 and they're selling it for $200.
It's amazing.
It's a deal.
Well, we got to take a break. Dan, it's always good to have you here.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Oh, thanks, brother.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. We'll talk soon.
I'm Adam Helfman. We got installation tips coming up next. This is the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Fourth generation contractor, home improvement expert, and just generally nice guy. Just ask all my friends. All two of them. Anyways, you bought a house this year. Lots of people buying a house. It's actually a seller's market, right? There's not a lot of new houses being built, but there's a lot of houses that people have bought and sold and lots of renovation. In fact, if you think about it, you buy a house, you need it inspected. And you're relying on a home inspector to find defects and find any major problems, so you don't spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000, million, 1.2, 2.5, whatever the number is. You don't spend all this money on a house, and you got yourself a lemon, because there's no lemon law for houses. There's just lawyers. So joining me on the Hire It Done radio show is a longtime friend and a benchmark home inspector. One of the best in the business. Dan Welch from Danway Home Inspections. Good morning, Dan.
Hey, good morning, Adam.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to be back.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
My producer's sitting out there.
I'm waiting. I've been waiting by the phone for the last year. But we've had a great journey. You had so many radio programs. You were doing TV and then all the projects you're doing downtown. So we've always interconnected, and we always
do business. Yeah, but on the radio show I'm talking.
Yeah.
So reintroduce yourself to the Hire It Done audience. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Oh, I'm Dan Welch. I have a company called Danway Home Inspections. I used to be Dearborn Modernization way back. So I've been around the building trades all my life. My dad built 18 plants for Ford Motor Car Company. I went to school in Europe, and I was groomed to build plants for Fords. But I took another turn. I started getting into historical renovations, Greenfield Village, and then I just love the trades. I love building. I love using my hands.
Renovation, man, it's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting process. It's a creative process. It's a financial benefit when you do well to your home. It's the womb. It's the sacred space where you raise your family, your children. It's very important.
So how long have you been a home inspector?
Probably going on about 20 years.
Wow.
I got into it when it first was not an industry. A friend of mine, Chris Campo from the Campo Builders.
Yeah, I know them. Anyways, it's always a good day, right? So it's cold out. Climate change is real. And you need to save energy. We want to be stewards of the planet, right? So how do you save energy? How do you do things the right way around your house? Well, in the home improvement business, I always say to people, hey, you should add insulation. You should tighten up the house a little, but let it breathe. How do you tighten your house up and let it breathe? There's ways to do it. So I always bring on experts that help me and help you, the homeowner, figure out the best way to implement energy savings. So in the studio with me right now is a longtime friend and expert in the insulation energy saving business for homes. His name is Tom Mackey. The company, Dana Insulation. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning. How are you, Adam?
We're kicking butt, dude. 2020 is going to kill it this year, right?
I think it's going to be a big year.
The best. Yeah. Anyways, tell the audience a little bit about Dana Insulation.
Dana Insulation has been a metropolitan Detroit exclusive insulation contractor now since 1977. We've been insulating both homes and businesses for that length of time, and we're busy. We believe we're experts in all aspects of insulation as well as ventilation, which you so importantly mentioned moments ago. And that's something folks don't always know, and we really need to keep them educated on their own homes and the best way to both insulate and ventilate their homes.
Well, that's the key. The insulation is good, but if you don't have proper ventilation,
it won't work.
Or if it's installed wrong,
that's a problem.
Right, a big problem. And that's what we're finding out with a lot of homeowners. So let's get right to the chase. Homeowners want to save a little bit of energy. You got the average house. They say, all right, I heard Adam. I called up Dana. What's the first thing you're going to do for the homeowner?
Well, you know, it's a wide gamut of what the folks are looking for. But traditionally, what I want to do each time someone makes an inquiry is I want to get out to their home. I want to look at their home, their circumstance. There's really no two jobs exactly alike, and so everybody's home is a little bit different. The first thing that folks are looking for is give me a generic number. Give me some kind of an idea of what the range of cost is to insulate a home. And I think most of the time they're surprised to hear it's a little less than what they were thinking it would be. But that doesn't do justice to the whole process, and I'm a guy who believes in process.
That's the best. Yeah.
We need to explain in great depth to our potential client what we can do for them, what we can bring to the party, and why it probably is a good idea for them to entertain that idea.
Well, that's what we're in, the information business, right?
That's right.
Saving people money, giving them good information so they make good decisions.
That's right.
It's always a good way to do that. So how was business for 2019? Was it a good year?
We had a great year, probably our largest year ever. I expect 2020 to even be bigger. There's so many building projects going on, as well as the retrofit market or existing home market, that I anticipate even a bigger year in 20.
So homeowner says to me, Adam, I just want to put insulation in my attic.
That's fantastic. Got to start somewhere.
Right?
That's
so
right.
You come out to the house, there's already, let's say, 6 inches of like vermiculite.
Well, you know, in the case of vermiculite, it's funny you made that choice. Unfortunately, very few people know what vermiculite or zonulite
is. What is it? Cork chopped up? Looks like a cork from wine bottles that are all chopped up, but it's not. It's a little poisonous.
Yeah, it potentially has a high count of asbestos.
Right.
And
of course it does.
Many folks, of course, you had a home inspector on moments ago. I'm sure he's run into many, many cases where he has forewarned potential buyers that zonulite and or vermiculite need to be looked at and possibly tested for asbestos. Anyway, my point, back to your question, is the first thing I'm going to evaluate is what a client has in their attic. Not just inches, the type of material, and what R value. And, of course, we know R stands for resistance to heat.
Right.
So the higher the R value, the more efficient the insulation in that attic is. Our goal here in Michigan is to achieve a minimum of R49, and most folks are very surprised to find out that they have somewhere in the R11 to R19 range.
Isn't that amazing? So when you go from let's just say R19, and you upgrade them to R49, it's not that huge of a difference, except the huge difference comes in the savings. The heat stays in the house that much longer.
Well, it frankly is a huge difference.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge difference in the entire comfort level of that home. The energy efficiency of that home is tremendously altered in the favor of the homeowner. Don't take my word for it. I'm just Tom, the insulation man. Talk to our major public utility companies who are selling gas. They'll tell you that you can anticipate a minimum of 18% in savings just with your attic insulation upgrade.
And that's huge.
Oh, of course it is.
It's huge.
If you look at a typical 1,000, 1,200 square foot home in the Metro Detroit area, they're going to spend somewhere in the $2,000 a year to both heat and cool that home. $360 is the potential to save with attic insulation.
That's a minimum saving.
That's 18%.
Yeah, that's huge. So that's a big deal.
It really is.
And it doesn't cost that much money to do that.
Surprisingly, I find the reaction from the homeowner more often than not to be surprised and very happily surprised that the cost was substantially lower than that they anticipated.
Well, that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
And insulation, it's done in a couple hours.
Again, each home is a little bit different. When I visit with a client and we ultimately schedule a project, I will always tell them to leave 4 to 6 to 8, depending upon the project, 4 to 8 hours available in their schedule. Block it out, give it to us as part of this project. But it happens often that we're able to get the job done in 3 hours, which is exciting for the homeowner. They can go about their day, go about their business.
I noticed a lot of homeowners don't realize that one of the side effects or benefits they don't realize after they put insulation in the attic is the house is quieter.
Well, it's probably the number one thing that's cited. The first phone call or reactionary response I get from our clients is, holy cow, what a difference in just the sound. And for most people, that's pretty exciting.
Well, you get that neighbor with the dog, or you get the neighbor starts his car at 5 a.m.
Or his motorcycle.
Yeah, of course, all that. That's what happens. So it's a good thing. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about, is there any new technology or anything new in the insulation business? And also, I want to break it down as to the ultimate way to insulate a house when we come back. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Thanks for tuning in. First, I want to take a quick moment to talk about Salt Sale Saturday. Say that 10 times fast. Salt Sale Saturday at Beauchamp Water Treatment Solutions in Brighton. And now they have a new location in Waterford. That's right, Waterford. Every Saturday you get DuraCube regular at an unbelievably low $5.99 for a 40-pound bag. Get the DuraCube Red out for $6.99 a bag, and potassium chloride for $19.99 a bag, plus 5 gallons of bottled water for $2.99 each. That's a pretty good idea. So get them bottled water, too. The water in your house is what you think. And I tell you what, you want clean water? Call Beauchamp. They did a reverse osmosis for me, and I've never been happier. I used to go get a case of water. Go to, big box store, Costco, wherever. I'd buy it by the cases. And now I'm thinking, I got it coming out of my faucet. And it tests better, tastes better. It's better all around. Anyways, and I got those insulated canisters and all that. What was I thinking? It was the best thing I ever did. So, with that being said, what's going on in your kitchen for 2020? Kitchens are at the top of almost every homeowner's list, okay? Many people buy houses just for kitchens or remodel their kitchen as soon as they can. You see, remember this. It's like a nucleus of your house. When you're at your home or you're at someone else's house, where does everyone hang out? Where is everybody hanging out in your house? It's usually in the kitchen. With that So we want you to be in the kitchen, right? So what's good about it? Well, granite countertops, tile backsplashes, stainless steel appliances. Homeowners want it all. But when it comes to time to sit down with your contractor and tell them what the specifics of what you actually want, oftentimes people draw a blank. This phenomenon is more common than you might think. It stems from homeowners focusing on what they don't want in their current kitchen rather than what they do want in the remodel. So if that happens to you, don't panic. I guess, what's my dream kitchen? My dream kitchen has got a deep fryer, like a McDonald's. You know, I want to be able to put a basket of fryer down, make just all kinds of fried foods. I know that's no good because then it's not healthy. But I want a deep fryer in my kitchen. I want a gas cooktop. I want it all. What does your kitchen want? It's what you want to talk about, right? So recently, one of my contractors, Jim Seggy from Seggy Renovations, him and I were talking about the dream kitchen and what is he thinking for 2020 and what are some of the homeowners. And Jim, he's been stressing that his company is not really an order taker. He's like, Adam, I'm a designer. And when he selects a remodeling contractor, when homeowners select a contractor for your kitchen, okay, you need one that knows how to do design. You need one that knows how to be a builder. It's not just easy to be a great contractor. You got to be good at everything. And Jim's firm, Seggy Renovations, he's really good at the design and he's got like a full balance. He's not huge, like he's not like one of the big kitchen companies. He's more boutique. And so if you want a guy that's hands-on and every day calls you and that kind of guy, he's your guy. But anyways, he was giving me some really good advice. Here, Jim gave me a list of features that he finds a lot of his clients are choosing. So here's a trend for 2020. This is what people are looking for in kitchens this year. First thing, when people want to make a
draft at a bar or restaurant near you.
97.1 The Ticket. What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. We got Tom Mackey from Dana Insulation in the studio. We're talking insulation, saving money. So, Tom, let me ask you a question. You hear R49 is what people need. A lot of people say, I was told R60. Now, we have what we call the law of diminishing returns, where if you go too much insulation, it doesn't help. So when you say R60, that's where you're at I think it's the limit to maximize the savings. Is it yes or no?
Adam, you've brought up a very good point. Yes, in one word, the answer is R60 is the probably the point of no return. You don't want to go past R60. Now, I've got a very, very defined method in which I approach that conversation of R49 up to R60 or opposed to R60. And my definition is people my age get R49, people your age get R60. And it all has to do with return on investment.
Interesting.
Yeah, everything that I recommend in a home environment, when I'm in your home recommending what's best for you, I'm not interested in what's best for me. It's you that I'm concerned with. And at your age, the additional cost, which is minimal, but the additional cost can be justified and paid back in a reasonable length of time for someone your age group versus somebody in my age group.
Okay.
So I recommend to what I'll call us old senior citizens, I'll recommend R49 all the time. To the younger folks, I'm going to recommend R60 most of the time.
Now, how much price difference is it?
Typically, let's just throw in 20 cents per square foot. If your home is 1,200 square foot, it's $240.
Oh, okay. So if you have R11 in the attic and you go R49 on top of it, you don't take what's there out. You leave it and you go right over it.
That's right. So what I'm doing when I come to your home, I'm evaluating what you currently have, what material, what shape it's in, the ventilation of your home, and what it's going to take to get it to the next level. And we go on top of, unless you had a catastrophic event where there's either water damage and or fire damage, and then we do removals.
Yeah. How often do you do air insulation? You remove it all out, and how hard is it to
Well,
suck
we're
all that out?
fortunate. Dana Insulation has wonderful relationships with some of the best restoration companies in the country, not just the state. And that's where we're doing our removals more often than the residential market.
Sure.
And I would say we do it 10% of the time.
So insulation, let's talk about the different types. You got cellulose, you got fiberglass, you got foam. In the attic, what's the one that you want to recommend for most people?
Most of the time, I'm going to recommend blown-in cellulose.
That's very green too, right?
It's not only is it green, there are qualities to cellulose that oftentimes lend itself additionally to my clientele. For instance, the folks who have gone through the experience of having squirrels in their attic, or birds in their attic,
or people living there that they didn't pay rent.
Well, no, not so much that, but where cellulose is not very critter friendly, fiberglass, on the other hand, is. So cellulose is probably the better choice. But there's a number of factors that go into that recommendation. So,
wow.
But cellulose, more often than not, is the answer to your question.
Okay, and then if someone says, well, I already have fiberglass, I want to just go back with more fiberglass, you'll do it, right?
Oh, 100%. Yes. If the client has a preference for whatever reason, I'm happy to accommodate.
Now, what happens when a homeowner calls you and says, I had insulation done years ago and it's not working, and you go up in the attic and you see it's all into soffit vents, it's plugged in there,
Well, that client does exist, by the way.
All the time.
Yeah, and not only did the insulation job, well, in most cases you find out it was Billy who lived down the street, and he had rented a machine to do the neighbors, so he threw mine in too. You find out that they were not trained professionals, and there are many trained professionals out there, not just Dana Insulation, although we certainly believe we're the best. You want your attic and or your home, any portion of your home, insulated by a trained professional. It's not a do-it-yourself project.
No, heck no. All right, let's switch from the attic to the basement.
Sure.
People don't realize when you have a basement, a huge percentage of the heat loss in your house goes through the top of the basement wall. They're called a bond plate.
Yeah, the bond rim joist area is probably awfully close second to the attic itself. Just the cold air infiltration alone is a real serious problem. In the building envelope, in the whole scheme of things, that bond rim joist area at the top of the poured basement or the masonry block basement is crucial to the overall.
And you can save a ton of
That's
money
right.
doing it.
It's almost close second to the attic.
We're talking with Tom Mackey from Dana Insulation. What's the phone number if someone wants to call you today?
586-463-8625 is the office. With your permission, I'd like to give my cell phone number as well.
Absolutely, give it out.
Yeah, I'm happy to give out my
Just don't call during the show because it'll distract me.
Yeah, and you can feel free to call me direct at 586-298-4422.
298-4422, area code 586 is Tom's cell phone. You'll get right direct to him and come right over. That's the best part. Your customer service is exemplary, by the way. You guys do a great job. You're a great company. Not one complaint.
Not one?
Not one this year.
Well, I can tell you that, unfortunately, I wish across the board that was true. You're referring to our Hire It Done listeners.
A+ is all across the board.
we've had a great level of success with the Hire It Done listeners. They're an interesting group. They're educated. They're a group of people that have pretty defined ideas as to what they want to do with their homes, and they're fun customers.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And to all the people out there listening, high fives to you, man. I like that. So is there any technology or, you got spray foam insulation, right? Closed cell, open cell. It goes into the bond plate in the basement. Is there any newer stuff coming out there? Is there anything made out of a corn or is there something made out of
there's always a new way to skin the cat, so to speak. Forgive me for that example. But there's always somebody coming up with new innovations for the insulation business. The one I've actually am beginning to do a great deal with is for a specific customer. It's not necessarily an insulation product, but it's something I'd like to share with your listeners. What is called is the attic jack. And an attic jack.
I love that. I've seen that.
Have you seen it?
Well, the lady was at one of the home shows years ago. It's so you can store in your attic after you put insulation in.
It
right?
allows us to put up to 12 inches of insulation above the top of the rafter, and you have the best of both worlds. You have a tremendously upgraded attic with the blown-in insulation, and you still have the ability to store because you've installed ladder jacks and put plywood over the top of it.
And it's smart, and it's easy to put in there.
I just did one for a client in St. Clair Shores.
Do you offer that, or is
we
it
do?
just,
We've developed a wonderful relationship. Matter of fact, Tom, the inventor, and
we should bring him on the show.
I would love to. He's talked to me at great length about meeting you, and I would like that. And Tom stopped by my office yesterday. He came in and said, "Do you need any more in stock? I'm sneaking out of town for a little vacation down to Florida."
It's not expensive either. I remember asking him.
They're not.
They're
actually quite. It's hard for me to totally answer the specific. I could sell a individual attic jacks for $24 each. However, as a do-it-yourself project, I caution our listeners.
Well, listen, again.
Working in an attic has its own unique set of problems that homeowners should seriously consider letting a professional do it.
Of course.
And the attic jacks are going to be proportionate to what you're going to store in that attic, on that plywood. So I have to make a determination as to how many you need for your storage needs. I also have to look at the pitch of your roof to determine the appropriate
Of course, and
location.
access. There's all kinds of little checklists you got to
right.
go through. That's why you have to have a professional. I agree 100%, Tom. So insulation saves money. It only takes 4 or 5 hours to put in for a bigger job.
That's right.
Everybody should be doing it.
At the very least, every homeowner should have me out to inspect their home, to go over it. And
Does it cost to have you come out and inspect?
I don't charge a penny. I give you 42 years of experience at the price of a cup of coffee.
And I love that. That's awesome. All right, we're going to take a quick break, Tom. When we come back, I want to talk about 5 things everyone should do this year that will save them energy. We'll hope, see if we can put that together for everyone.
That'd be great.
I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. If you have any questions, you can always email me, adam@hireitdone.com. Anyways, we've got Gary Shelley and Andrew Perlin from Running Right Heating, Cooling in Studio. And the question is, what are the top items that break on a furnace when a homeowner calls you? And, of course, a furnace always breaks on the weekend when it's the coldest day of the year. Murphy's Law is always overlooking at that. So, Gary, tell me, what are your thoughts?
Well, most of the furnaces today have 2 motors on them, and the motors can fail. It can be something as simple as an igniter that may go bad, which isn't a major issue. Sometimes even just cleaning what we'd call a sensor in there. There's most of the issues that you have with the furnace can be related to the safety portion of it, because it's always checking things that are going on in the furnace to make sure it's safe. If not, it'll shut it off. If the control board doesn't like what it's seeing inside the furnace temperature, or the flame didn't light, it'll just shut the unit down, and that's when you need service, obviously.
Clearly. So that's important. And is those expensive things to fix?
Well, a lot of those can be corrected ahead of time. That's why a good maintenance check on the thing to kind of see how things are going, clean the sensor, take a look at the igniter, see how old it is, listen to the motors, see if they sound like, because a lot of times they'll give you some warning that they're going to go bad. They'll start making noise and let you know a little bit ahead of time, and you may not even hear it upstairs, but it may not sound right to our technician, and they might recommend doing it before it breaks on that weekend when it's a lot tougher to get somebody out.
So someone can call you for a furnace tune-up, and in the tune-up they can check all that stuff.
We can look at those things, and in a lot of cases you can see things that may be going wrong, and that's a lot of what's happening. Two things on a checkup is safety, to make sure it's safe, and the other thing is to see if we can see anything that may be coming up in the future that might fail on you, and get it done before it happens.
Well, that's the best way, preventative.
Yes.
Well, everyone wants that. That's interesting. It's interesting. So at what point does a homeowner who has a furnace, let's say it's been doing fine for 15 years, let's say it's from the 90s or the late 2000s, what do they do? When do you decide it's a new furnace as opposed to repairing it? Is there a rule of thumb? Is there a formula? Because I have my own idea, but I'm just wondering, what do you guys tell a homeowner?
Typically, I mean, the cost.
Pool tables, darts, arcade games, full menu with American classics, and Capone's signature dishes. Capone'sBar.com. Find Capone's on Facebook. Not just a bar, a destination. The premier East Side sports bar. Capone Sports Bar in St. Clair Shores.
Keep the customers happy. That's what we do at Village Ford in Dearborn. We're very big on happy customers, and J.D. Powers agrees. After an in-depth look at everything we do, J.D. Powers has named Village Ford a Dealer of Excellence, the first Ford Dealer of Excellence in Michigan. It's quite an honor. Let's face it, Dealer of Excellence has a nice ring to it, but it was never the goal. We're just trying to keep our customers happy. At Village Ford, Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, we have to be better.
Hi, Samantha here with Henderson Glass, your Michigan glass expert since 1915. Did you know that our qualified professionals can help determine if your windshield can be repaired or should be replaced in order to get you back on the road quickly and safely? As a general rule, if the chip in your windshield is bigger than a quarter, the windshield should be replaced. Many insurance companies will waive the deductible on your comprehensive coverage for a windshield repair. Call us at 1-800-ASK-GLASS to ask if you qualify, or visit hendersonglass.com.
What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. I've got Tom Mackey from Dana Insulation. We're talking about how to save energy in your home. Tom, give your cell phone out on the air right now.
My cell phone, 586-298-4422.
298-4422. Area code 586. Got Tom Mackey from Dana Insulation. Tom, you got fiberglass insulation, you got cellulose, you got spray foam. Is there a choice? Which was the one that you, in your own home, what's the one you want to use more than anything else?
Well, I'll tell you exactly. I have cellulose in my walls, cellulose in my attic, and I have foam in all the bond plates. I live in a home that's on a crawl, so I have the crawl walls are all done with foam insulation, the closed cell foam. So you got
a good combo.
Oh, I've got my home is insulated as well as you're ever going to insulate it.
So does the foam insulation have off-gassing? People are like VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Is there a problem, a risk?
No,
Okay.
there is not.
That's not
I've never, ever experienced someone who needed to leave the home as a result of foam being installed.
Now, let me ask you this. The homeowner calls you up and says, I heard you on Hire It Done. I want you to insulate everything, my whole house. I want it done. Do the whole house. You do the whole house. Do you recommend, now that you've tightened the house up and it's really good, do you recommend they call a heating and cooling company and make sure the furnace has got good makeup air and it's got good combustion air? Because now that the house is tight.
And a humidifier.
Oh, okay.
You've got to have a humidifier.
Because that'll dry everything
And you're going to need a dehumidifier at
so
the summer months.
Okay, because that's really what makes the house like a really working machine.
That's right.
Okay, I'm okay with that. And I wanted to, that's why I was asking, because some homeowners don't need to know there's other connected things in a house that do that.
Yeah, the insulation has a wide range effect on the overall functionality of the home, and you need to be educated. And let's face it, we're here today. You're on the show every Saturday morning for the simple reason you want educated homeowners. You
try.
want people to get the opportunity to learn more every day about their home.
I appreciate you telling me that. And yes, that's what we're here for. We're here to educate homeowners, because if you're educated on the project, on the product, on the topic, you're going to make a better decision. You're going to find a contractor that's not going to rip you off, not overcharge you. At the end of the day, with Hire It Done's mantra, we want to give you hassle-free home improvement.
That's right.
That's it. That's to keep it simple.
Qualified, capable contractors who come in and do it right 99.9% of the time the first time.
And to add to that, thank you for that, by the way. And to add to it, this is what makes Hire It Done different. One of the qualities that we profile our contractors is we look for contractors that are solution-minded, meaning all contractors that are smart know there's mistakes in the job. Sometimes they make a mistake, sometimes they do this. But the contractor that really excels is the one that solves the problem when they create one. But God forbid, he stepped on a recessed light, this and that. It happens.
Doggone right it happens.
So at that point, the contractor says, hey, here's what we did. Now here's the solution. Instead of blaming, sorry, that's just part of the job. You'll have to fix it yourself. What? Yeah. What? Yeah. Not happening. So how many times do you get homeowners call you and say, I got frozen pipes all the time. I need insulation around the pipe?
Well, it's really in the past 5 years been incredible, a lot. Some of the homes that are still being built with pipes, plumbing pipes on
going up the
exterior
outside walls, overhangs.
It's
they don't think about it.
Yeah.
I've got a plumber, Shelby Mechanical. I think you know Ron.
I know him
Alexander.
very well. He's great.
Yeah, the guy's a rock star.
Ron's
the company,
great.
his whole staff, right? And the solution minded thing made me think about him, because I called him up and I said, listen, I got hot water slowing down when I put hot water. He's like, let's send Dominic. Dominic's like Inspector Clouseau. He's going to find it. He'll investigate. And now he's getting into like tankless water heaters. I'm so excited with things like that. But I forgot, because of the insulation around pipes, he's always getting called out on frozen pipes and stuff. We got to collaborate with him.
Yeah. Well, we're getting an abundance of those calls every winter. And as I said, the past 5 years has been mind-boggling. And, the solutions are oftentimes a challenge because the gaining access into them are one of your clients, and ironically, his first name was Adam, like yours. That was how he initiated the call to Hire It Done. He's over in Birmingham. If you recall that young man that called you.
I do know.
Just a neat guy in a neat home. But he was experiencing a lot of
He's the guy in the real estate. He's in the real estate business, right?
Yes, his family is in real estate.
Okay,
that's right.
Yeah, you solved all those problems.
Well, we sure were able to get out there and cure the lion's share of the problems. And now we're looking at the home is very unique.
Trying nooks and crannies everywhere.
Yeah,
I remember that job.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, but that goes back to the solution mindedness of contractors. So if homeowners want to save energy, they want to cut their heat bill, you can pretty much guarantee you can by going over there and taking a look.
Well, I can guarantee I can get out there and take a look. My batting average is pretty strong. I would venture to say, though, it's not 100%. So I feel real strongly that 90% of the time I'm going to be able to cure the problem. But unfortunately, it's a challenge in a retrofit situation.
Well, here's my point. If I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet on you. That's for sure. Because I know that you guys, when you come out, can take a look at a house and you can absolutely, within minutes, say, yeah, here's how you're going to save money. Boom.
Well, on insulating a home, that's absolutely correct. The difference I can make in the majority of the metropolitan Detroit homes is substantial and rewarding to both the homeowner and to myself. So I strongly urge people that getting the education on insulating their homes and making this home more energy efficient is money well spent, time well spent to become educated.
Well, that's the best part. Education allows the homeowner to make a better decision.
That's right.
That's what we want to do here, and that's why we're always working that. So if someone calls you, what's the timeline? Are you there in a couple weeks?
I get out there as quickly as I possibly can, and it's less than 2 weeks to visit with them. Scheduling their project really is a process, not just with ourselves, but also with their schedule.
Sure.
So we will get it. I always ask, when a client looks at me and says, Tom, how quickly can we get to this job? Unfortunately, I answer the question with a question. How quickly do you need me to get to the job? And then I'll do everything in my power to cater to that timeline.
So when the time they say yes to the time you do the install, you're only talking a couple weeks. Or
Yeah,
less.
a couple, 3 weeks.
You're in and out.
Couple, 3 weeks.
Okay, so that's not a bit. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so 2020 is going to be a good year, right?
I'm excited. We got a lot already on the books, and we're our phones are ringing off the hook.
Summertime, a good time to do installation as well?
We traditionally do a little bit different work in the summer months than we do in the winter months. The winter months, unfortunately, people wait until it gets cold.
People are reactive, not proactive.
Yeah, they're reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more folks calling me in the April, May, June time frame.
Can we do a summer special or spring?
I can and I will. I will because I do get so loaded up in the winter months.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best part. Listen, again, you're a good business. You're all about customer satisfaction. The referrals that you get from homeowners is, ungodly.
It's out of this world.
Yeah, and everybody knows you. Everyone's heard of you.
Yeah.
So it's just keeping up, just doing a good job. And shout out to Sam.
Yeah.
He's probably listening today.
I would hope he's out of bed listening.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And to our installation teams. They're a wonderful group of guys, highly trained and highly motivated.
Are you guys hiring?
Always. We're always looking for top-of-the-line people, and top-of-the-line doesn't necessarily mean trained, because I'll do that.
So you'll train people? Okay,
yeah,
good.
I'll train. I want people that want to come in and be part of the overall solution. Understand the construction business and the tremendous amount of satisfaction you get from helping folks.
And you make a good living, too.
Make a very handsome
Give
living.
your number out one more time.
I'm going to give you both my cell phone number and my office, Adam. 586-298-4422 is my cell. You can reach me direct. The office, 586-463-8625.
Thanks for coming in, Tom.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Adam. Great
I want
to
to thank
see you.
everyone for listening. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. I'll see you all next week.